when people say psychic medium, psychic gifts are me reading the energy of another living person. Mediumship is connecting to someone that's in the spirit realm. So psychic medium is kind of putting the two together. I'm connecting to their past loved one, but I'm also connecting to them and seeing what's coming up with them in their lives right now. And so it's like I'm reading both energies at the same time, and then coming up with the most efficient message for that person at this moment.
Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about the meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bombastik Broadcasting with Kat, Kim, and Sue.
As you know, here at Bombastik Broadcast, we believe in shining the light on all things bombastic and illuminating the folks who are stoking the fire in their souls, one podcast at a time. So tonight we have our lovely guest, Naomi Haigh, and she is an intuitive and a psychic medium. She helps people gain clarity on their businesses and personal lives. Naomi, you also do like a weekly energy reading. You have a podcast called the Modern Psychic Podcast and book, The Healer's Way. So, so many wonderful things for us to learn and glean from you tonight. Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Yay.
Great. We're very excited to have you too. I did a little perusal of your websites, and there are a lot of exciting questions I want to ask you. But let's just start off by saying, how did you get started in this business?
Oh my goodness. So I wasn't born with these gifts. So they pretty much showed up around like at the very beginning of 2018. I felt the pull to book a Reiki session. It blew my mind, and then I had to know everything about it, and just went down the rabbit hole and have stayed down there ever since.
I love that.
So
Fantastic.
before that, I was a business analyst for a bank holding company, and I was in the technology department, and so lots of spreadsheets, lots of data, lots of analytical stuff, and spent a lot of time doing my education. And so I've got 4 different college degrees in business, and
Oh, wow.
that's where I thought my life was going to go, you know?
Right.
Wow. What a change of pace.
Right. Yeah. And so for me, it just felt like my spiritual journey kind of felt like this. At first it was really cool, and it was like, oh, cool. I, can read energy. I can start to see it move and help heal people. And that's really cool. And then my mediumship opened up, and I was just curious about it. Like, okay, what is this? How can I get better at it? And so I worked with a couple of mentors to help hone in my mediumship skills. I learned how to do audience readings for people, and so I just thought it was going to be like a cool, cool little side gig thing, like just something I can do, but I want to keep my job and all the perks and everything like that, like what I signed up for or worked for. And then at the so my mediumship opened up around like in 2018, and I just learned a lot. 2019, I was still learning more about mediumship. And then by like the middle of 2019, I just kept getting told, and I'm clairaudient, so that's my strongest gift is hearing. And so I can't ignore it. It just gets louder and louder.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
And so
That's so cool.
I kept getting told that I'm gonna quit my job and do the psychic readings full time, and I'm just like, no, I'm not. No.
Wow.
I kept resisting, but it just again got louder and louder. And I was working with clients here and there, mainly just through word of mouth. People coming to me for readings or for Reiki, And, but by the end of 2019, it was just so loud, and I knew that, you know, I needed to follow it. And so I quit my job. And right at the end of 2019, I quit my job, and I was like, okay, let's do this. We're going to start a business. At the same time, me and my husband separated, and I was like,
boy.
okay, well, that's not ideal. But
Right.
at the beginning of 2020, I opened up a business and started doing group classes and also doing my readings, and things were going really well, taking off. And then COVID hit, and then everything shut down. And then I was like, why? What's going on here?
What am I
Hopefully the
supposed to do
voices
now?
stayed talking to you to help you guide you along, right?
Well, they were pretty much like, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. Like, and I was just like, no, it's not. Like, what do you mean?
How?
Yeah, my husband's, left, and you told me to start this business, and now everything's shut down, and so nobody's doing anything. And like, how am I gonna, I need to get my old job back. I need to, do that. And it was just like, nope. You need to do inner work. So all through 2020, I was doing inner work, learning how to trust, learning how to follow this intuition. I was totally taken care of. How, I have no idea, but anything I wanted, I got.
Wow.
I was getting massages and just living my life like I normally did, and being able to afford things, and it was crazy.
Love that.
And so, yeah, me and my husband decided to work things out. Because of the inner work, I completely shifted the dynamic of the relationship. So like, things have been better than they've ever been before, between me and him, between me and my two boys, my immediate family.
What a great story.
So
Let's just pause there for 1 second, because that's like podcast enough. I mean, I mean, there's probably a lot of people that can benefit just from hearing that part of your story, Naomi. So I just wanted to like highlight that. But how kind of convenient that you could actually hear the voice. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like, most people are like, oh, I would love that. And I'm like, yeah, you would, until it tells you things that you don't want to hear.
Right?
You're like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
What does the voice sound like? Is it
like quit your job and, do this full time, just take a leap? And it's like, no. Like,
right.
That's
amazing though. You were able to trust it.
The voices just sound like me talking to myself in my head, but it just kind of plops in. Like, I'm not thinking about anything, or I am asking, or wondering in my head, oh, what should I do about this? And then I just kind of hear a thought, and it's just like, you do this and this and this. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So it's not
That's so cool.
Different voices. And I do feel my guides around, when I am getting that insight, I'll feel different guides and stuff. And so I know that, it's not just me making it up in my head, but yeah.
Sure.
We do that. I know I saw on your website you do intuition strengthening. So you obviously are phenomenal at reading your intuition.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, do you have any like quick tips for the rest of us?
Yeah, the very first thing, I do classes, and I also do mentoring for people, and I mainly work with, funny enough, entrepreneurs, and helping them strengthen their intuition and use it in their lives and business, because it's very practical and applicable when you hone in on those on that guidance and ask the right questions. And so I would say that if you're just starting out, notice everybody has intuition. So notice where you have gotten guidance just out of the blue, has it been through a feeling? Has it been through hearing? Has it been through just a knowing, where it just kind of plops in and it's like, I don't know, but I'm supposed to do this because I just know that it's going to work out. Or do you get visions? Do you kind of see things, or do you see something just pop into kind of a third eye, or even like it's right in front of you? those are all psychic gifts, and each one is just kind of showing you where you're already open. And so I always tell people to start with where they're open, even if it's just one thing. Even if you only get, when I first started, I only got hearing. I would get different words. And at first it was very subtle. It was very quick. One word here, two words there. So I would say don't discount what you have gotten. It's very valid. And the more that you listen to it, follow it, take action on it, the stronger those senses will get. So I hear full sentences, full conversation. Like I get a lot now because I just kept following the little things, the little subtle words,
Sure.
little subtle things that it was telling me. I would follow it, and then I'd get a little bit more. Okay, now it turned into a sentence, and then now it turned into two sentences. And so yeah, that's where I would say to start.
Remember the first word?
I just remember that it started coming in when I was actually practicing Reiki on people, when I was working on people. And so I think one of the first things was like, go to knees, go to their knees or something like that. Like it was like knees. And so I was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess I'm supposed to go to their knees, and a whole bunch of energy moving. And then later on after the session, they told me like, oh my gosh, when you went to my knees, like I had an injury a couple days ago, but now I don't even feel it, and so I was just like, cool.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
I get words during my Reiki sessions: hips, legs, shoulder, and then it started turning into tell them this after you're done, or it would just guide me into like giving me insight into what they might be going through right now, injury, or they need to release this relationship, and so I started getting more insight into that. Like the more that I listened to it, it just started getting stronger,
multiplying.
Yep.
Fantastic.
How helpful that would be,
I know.
even
Very much so.
for the people that get your coaching or your Reiki, because sometimes it is hard to figure out exactly what the problem is. So to get that clarity from your intuition is so great. So earlier today, we were talking a little bit about like the difference between, you get that gut feeling where it's almost like fear, like don't go in the garage, right? But then you're like, hey, is that fear or is that intuition? So can you tell us a little bit about how you can distinguish between that kind of feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what I get a lot with people. It's like, well, am I just telling myself this, or is it actual guidance? And what I always encourage them to do is when they feel that, it's like, okay, take a minute, and I have them come to their heart, so start, just breathe into your heart, so you're out of your head, and so I have them imagine just moving all of their energy down into their heart. So any thoughts, any, to-do lists, whatever, it's like pull it down into your heart center and just kind of create this this bubble here, in the middle of your heart, and breathe into it. So focus your attention on just breathing into that heart space, and then ask the question, is this fear? And if you feel it opening, then that means yes. If you feel a contraction, then that's no, And so and it could just be very subtle, but it's just, like when we go back and forth in our minds, it's our indication that we need to go into our bodies more, is what I feel. Our bodies are immensely intelligent, and they know a lot of things that our heads can get, too clouded or overthinking, but our bodies, don't have that. They just have that intuitive response. And so it's just about practicing getting out of your head, getting into your body, and then asking the question, okay, should I really go there? Is it safe for me to go there? If you feel yes, then it usually feels more lighter, more, open. If it's still a no, then you might feel more constricted, heavy, cold, is another sensation that some people get. And so, um, and again, it just depends on what you're already open to. So if you're very visual, if you're clairvoyant, which is the visuals, you might see a certain color, when you ask that question. You might kind of, instead of feeling it in your body, when you can go to your heart center, but then you might see your heart turn a certain color. It might be bright and then it might be dark, and so again, it's just kind of paying attention to, or you might get a knowing, like, no, I'm not supposed to go there, or okay, yes, I am supposed to go there, and so it's just using what you currently are open to, but getting into your body, focusing on your body, and letting your body tell you, is this right, is this not right, and kind of frame it in a yes or no question, so it's really easy for your body to open, close. And some people I've seen, even if you stand up and then you ask the question and you start moving forward, that's a yes, that's your indication of yes. And then, like, if it feels like it's moving back a little bit, then that's a no. But the trick is to just try to get out of your head. And so focusing on a different part of your body, when you ask that question, is going to help you get out of your headspace, so that you can let your body tell you what that is, and then just follow it. There's no wrong answers. You're always going to learn something. So just trust what your body's telling you and see how it plays out. And then the next time, you'll know, did that work? Did that not work? But if it didn't work, then I need to try something else to get out of my head. And
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Amazing.
That's awesome.
And you said you can see energy. Is that just when you're doing Reiki or all the time?
not all the time. I don't like being open just all the time.
Yes.
But when I'm working with people, when I'm doing my readings, I'll see things in energy, especially when I'm helping people, like, with a situation that they have going on. It's like it's like I throw it up on a whiteboard. Like, here's what they're going through, and I see moving parts and energy of what's happening with them, and then I can kind of pinpoint where the energy is not flowing the way that it should. If it looks cloudy, or it looks stagnant, or I can kind of, or if it's just kind of pulsating, then I'm like, okay, and then I zoom in. So I kind of do like a Google Earth thing.
Oh, wow.
Right, where I just like zoom in and zoom in and zoom in until I get to the core, or the root cause of what is stopping that energy from moving the way that you want it to move. And then I can ask for guidance and see, okay, what do they need to do then? Like, how can I get this to move the way that it's meant to move? Sometimes there's another avenue, that wants to come in. And so it's like, okay, you tried going this way, but you need to make a different choice. And here's another choice that feels like it's going to help move that even better. So yeah, but I also see energy when I'm coaching people on how to tap into their own intuition. I don't know how I can kind of walk with people like shamanically when I'm walking them through a meditation, or I'm walking them through connecting with guides, ancestors, with helping them move their own energy. It's like I can stand side by side and I can see how the energy is moving in their body. And so I can tell when someone's connected to something, when they're not. I can tell when they're grounded, when they're not. I can tell when their attention is all over the place, or when it's focused. And so I can call people out on that pretty good. They're like, how do you know? And I'm like, I don't know. I can just see it. Like, you say here, but you're not doing it. So
Wow. Oh my
Doesn't
gosh.
just make being a mom fun.
when I'm helping people with their business, I do the same thing. I kind of pull their business up on a whiteboard in front of me, and then, okay, here's human resources, here's production, here's admin, here's your processes, what isn't quite flowing, and then I zoom in and help them figure out what that is and started how to get it moving. So,
all of your business degrees make such good sense with this. I mean, I love that you have both of those sides and you're marrying them. Even what you're talking about, the little bit I know about Reiki, I mean, how you say you like throw it up on the whiteboard and then see where the energy's stuck. Isn't that what Reiki kind of does too?
Yeah.
Gets the chi flowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's what Reiki does. And it's also, in business sense, it's what do they call that? Vision mapping, where they show, okay, you start with this process, then you go to this process, then you go to this process, and this is how they all work together.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like a combo of, both of those.
So cool.
And then when you see energy around, like, let's just say around a person, like, would there be some energy around their heart and around their brain, or like, is it just general energy? I don't know if that's a weird question, but
it just depends on what I'm curious about. I can really just zoom in. I'm in human design, I'm a projector, and so I don't know if you know that much about projectors, but they talk about projectors as having kind of this penetrating aura. So instead of having like just a round aura, it's like we have a round aura, but then it kind of like pokes out so that it can penetrate into certain things that we're looking at, because a projector can pull out things that most people can't see easily.
Yeah.
It's like it just highlights for us, and we can just pin right into it and get the information that we want, and it's easy for us. and that's why it's such a good business analyst, because it was just like I could see a whole bunch of data, and then I could be like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and then I could figure out how to fix it, rather than go through each individual step. And that's how I help people in their businesses. I can see the whole, and then I can pinpoint, okay, these are the things that are causing the problems. How do we shift it, without having to go through each step and have somebody tell me all about their business and here's how I do this. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to. And then I can tell you, oh, you have a human resource problem, or you have a process problem. And then I can dive in deeper and ask my guides, what is it? Give me more information so I can get down very granular to what it is. And so same thing with people. When I'm around people, normally like I said, I'm not on. And so if I'm just at the gym, it's just like, I won't really feel anything unless somebody comes forward, like an ancestor or a guide comes in and says, hey, you need to talk to them about this. And I've kind of created my boundaries to where if it's really, really important and they need to hear it from me, then I want them to kind of come in whenever. Like, you can interrupt my everyday whatever it is if it's very, very important. If it's something that they're just working on and, they'll figure it out, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. How do people react to you when you've got something wildly important to tell them out of the blue?
I approach it with just like I'm very just straightforward, but I also I give them the invitation. So I tell them, okay, I know this is really random. I'm a psychic medium, and I feel like I have a message for you that just popped in, and are you open to receiving it? If not, that's totally cool. I get it. I will leave you alone. But if so, then I can tell you what I got. And
how could anyone say no to that?
Right.
And so, has anyone said no?
No, not yet.
No.
and I don't just walk up and say, hey, you're supposed to do this. And,
no, right.
Yeah.
I come at it a little bit different. If it was
sure,
my husband always tells me that I have like this aggressive personality, which I don't know why, but he's like, you just come off like aggressive, and it might just be because I'm an Aries, but I just want to get to the point. Yeah. Oh, you too, Kath?
Yeah. The 28th of March. What are you?
31st.
Oh. Yeah, that's right.
And so, that's just my style. It's just like, hey, do you want it or not? And if you say no, like, I could give two, rat's butts about it, but it's just like, okay, cool, whatever, but
Sure.
if you want it, then here it is. I can give it to you. And it took me a while to get to that point of, being open enough to approach people that didn't ask for it. Because that's one other thing about a projector that I didn't know until I learned human design was that we wait for the invitation. We wait to be asked for our insight because it's so penetrating and because it's so, it just gets straight into whatever is the meat of it, and so
yes,
we don't have a very gentle approach to things. It's just,
wow.
Yeah.
if
Going
you're
right in.
asking me, you're gonna get. I'm gonna go straight in and I'm gonna grab it, whether you like it or not. Like I'm gonna see it, And so
I'm so glad you brought up human design again. Sue and Kim, have you heard of that before?
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know just like a smidge of. I know kind of the overall thing of it. So it's kind of like another form of astrology, like your birth chart. It's kind of, it takes astrology, but it also takes some of these other modalities, which I'm not quite sure what it is. And so it kind of packages out a blueprint for each individual person based off their birth date, their time of birth, and their place of birth, just like an astrology chart. But they go into more detail, like human design goes into more detail about, like they have four or five different types that they kind of categorize people in. So there's a projector, there's, so the projectors are like the seers, the people that can go in and pull out information, or they can see stuff like really fast that other people can't. It'll take them longer. And then there's generators. The generators, I had someone on my podcast that kind of explained this, and so I'll just explain it like how she did.
Thank you.
Great.
But she explained it as like the worker bees. So they're the people that just go. Like I've got duty. They're about reacting to their environment. So if there's something that needs to be done, I'm going to do it. I'm more reactive. And so they're very much, about the task at hand. I'm working towards something. I got to achieve this goal, and I'm going to do the work to do that. Then there's manifestors, and they're the ones that get like all these big ideas, and they can do like a lot of things all at once, and it get things going. They're the initiators. They get things moving, they get things going, they can set things up, and it's just like, I'm starting this business, and then I'm starting that business, and then I'm starting that business, and you don't know how they're doing it, but they just like, it's easy for them. And then let's see, what else is there? Then there's reflectors, and their types are people that mirror back kind of what other people are trying to work through and go through, from my understanding. I may be getting it a little bit wrong, but they're more sensitive to energy. They're more sensitive to emotions in people. It takes them a lot longer to come up with solutions, but when they do provide that insight, it's like a whole picture of everything that you were looking for, that you needed, because they took the time to reflect on everything, and so that they could kind of create, okay, this is what you really need to know. This is the whole package of everything that you were looking for. And so it took me a while, but now I can reflect that back to you. Projectors like have to rest a lot, because our energy, we do it in sprints. So we can see a bunch of stuff, and it's like boom, 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 boom. This is what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. And then we're wiped out. And then it's like, okay, now I got to sleep for 4 days.
Really?
Wow.
And it's not that we're exhausted, but it kind of is. It's just like,
Yes.
okay, I got to give myself a break, like, because
Yeah.
when we're zooming into that much information, into that much energy, it just takes a toll. And so
Sure.
we don't work like generators. So a lot of projectors don't do well with the 9 to 5s because that's just not how they can't just be on all the time. It's exhausting to us. It takes a lot of energy out of us. And same with reflectors too. Like it's hard for them to have all that energy, like, and to demand output so fast because they have to take that time to process things a lot more so that they can give you a better picture of what's really going on and more insight. And so some types work better with others.
Yeah.
So a projector works really good with like a manifester because the manifester is like boom, 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 boom. And we can say, oh, you need to do that instead of that. You need to do that instead of that. And they're like, done, boom, 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 boom. Like just keep going. And then they do the work and then they get a generator to come in and do the everyday tasks. And then, like a reflector to kind of oversee and make sure everything's going. Like that would be the ideal situation is all of them working together in the right places,
Oh my gosh. Now we have to find that out too. Because Kim, I bet you're a manifester, Kim. Don't you think, Sue? Because she's like, let's just get this.
She's got it all going on.
Yeah, and Sue keeps it all together, right?
Totally.
Be a generator, yeah.
So is everybody one of those things? I mean, you don't have to be psychic or whatever. So we all have that in us. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then into human design. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then I was going to ask, so your husband in 2019 was married to a spreadsheet business girl and then comes back into 2020 married to a psychic medium. Was he like...
And be careful what you wish for, right? I want a new wife. Right.
Well, in fact, we've been married for 17 years
now.
Wow.
Congratulations.
We were already married for 11, 12 years, like me being regular. And then just be like, oh, we're doing this now. Yeah. I keep checking in with him and like, how are you doing? How is everything going? Tell me, I promise I get it. And he's also an Aries too, and so he'll tell me and he can just go with it. And he's also a generator, so he just reacts to his environment. He's just like, hey, I'm just gonna roll with it. Like I'll adjust, I'll do what you need, like whatever, keep going.
That's great.
So yeah, it's
that's awesome.
So far, he's hanging in there, and I keep saying, like, are you like by your fingernails or you got a good grip? And he's just like, you think that this is so hard for me? And I'm like, well, I think it would be hard for me. But
yeah, sure. Great.
He's like, don't you worry about me.
Yep. He's just like, I'm good. And so I'm like, he's like, that's your thing and that's okay. So he doesn't get too into it, but he pays attention. And so he's also been doing a lot of inner work on his own and manifesting things. Like he's like, I'm going to put this out there and then it'll happen. And he's just like, oh, like that works. But he's tiptoeing,
Yes.
Right.
That's great though.
I like jumped in and I'm like, ooh, look at all this.
He's just got his toes in.
Yep.
You're like, come on in, the water's fine.
That's testing the water. It's the water.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
And then I was going to ask, I looked on your website and it looks like you have a class coming up where you connect with people's loved ones on the other side. Okay.
So that's the mediumship. So when people say psychic medium, psychic gifts are me to you. It's me to another living person. I'm reading the energy of another living person. With mediumship is connecting to someone that's passed, someone that's in the spirit realm, and it's connecting to that energy and then giving guidance. And so psychic medium is kind of putting the two together. So when I'm doing readings for people, psychic readings or mediumship readings, I'm connecting to their past loved one, but I'm also connecting to them and seeing what's coming up with them in their lives right now. And then I'm kind of putting the message to make it relevant to what's currently going on with them. And so it's like I'm reading both energies at the same time, and then coming up with the most efficient message for that person at this moment.
Okay.
But I learned how to do audience readings, and so audience readings called demonstrations. They're a little different than a one-to-one session, where if it's one-to-one, then I know that I'm getting somebody, one of your ancestors or one of your past loved ones. Like I know who it's going to be for you. In an audience reading or a demonstration, I don't know who's going to come in for who. And so I open up to the spirit realm and I say, okay, any ancestor that wants to come forward for anyone in this room.
Oh, wow.
At a time.
Yes.
You up.
You're welcome to come forward. I feel someone come forward. I connect with them. I try to figure out who this is, and I figure out who they want to talk to in the audience. And then I go to that person in the audience, and then I say, okay, I feel like I have this person here for you. Here's what they're showing me. They were like, and so you have an idea of who that could be. You can validate and verify that, and then here's the message that they want to give you, And
oh
then
my gosh.
do it again and again and again.
Wow.
So
that's got to be exhausting
for me, because then I don't know who's coming in.
So cool.
Yeah.
What's the coolest message? Sorry.
What's that?
What's the coolest message you've ever delivered?
Oh my gosh.
Or freakiest, or something that stands out.
There's just been so many different things. The coolest ones are when I can feel healing on both sides. I feel the healing happening to the person that's alive, that's receiving the message. And I'm also feeling healing from the person that has passed as I'm delivering a message that's, pretty deep, and there was, maybe a lot of trauma involved or whatnot. As I'm working that out and delivering those messages, I feel the energy shifting and feeling it clear. That's kind of how I feel things like heal. It's when it comes in and it's all kind of balled up and it kind of looks like a cloud, and then on both sides, or it's like a storm. And then as I'm talking through things and as I'm delivering messages, and for me, another thing in human design, you kind of get an idea of what your authority is. So it's kind of like your chakras, but there's a couple different extras in the human design chart. And your authority is kind of where you have the most power, or where your power centers are. Mine is my throat. And so when I talk to people, I'm doing the healing. So I don't have to do Reiki on them. I can talk through things and it heals. It moves the energy as I'm talking through them. And so the coolest messages have been where I can feel the healing on both sides. I feel the spirit healing and shifting wherever it's at, and I feel the person in front of me also shifting, and then things clear, and then it just is like flowing energy, and it feels so good, and it's just like more at peace,
Wow.
What a beautiful. Gosh.
That is beautiful.
We meet so many people with really neat gifts and things that you wouldn't even know about. And I think hopefully our listeners enjoy it as much as we do, because, just when you think you know all the things about the stuff, and then there's something else. Yeah. Do you think everyone has special gifts like you do that we just haven't tapped into? That's cool. Do we get them genetically?
For me, I feel like it's come from more and cosmic sense, more of a soul sense, rather than human genetics and human, ancestry and whatnot.
Okay.
Like when my gifts first opened up, I'm part Native American, so my mom is white and my dad is Navajo.
Nice.
Full-blooded Navaho.
Cool.
So when my gifts opened up, everyone was like, "Oh, it's because you're Navajo," and I was like, I was never really close to that side of my family too much, and so I don't know any of the Native traditions. I don't know any of anything like that. my gifts opened up, I've been drawn to Celtic, and I don't
Okay.
know. So I've done different pilgrimages, where Spirit has said, go here. And it's like grid work that I'm doing. I get called to the monoliths in Europe, and
And you just go.
I just go because it's
Oh
clear.
my God, I love that.
This is where you need to go, and
Chills.
this is what you need to do there. And it's just like, I don't get the full picture. It's like, go there and then you'll know. And, then I'll just be drawn to the monoliths, and different ones I'll be called to touch or to be around. And then it just feels like I'm just getting downloaded with like literal codes, information, and it's coming in so fast. Like I couldn't even tell you what it is. Like I still don't know.
Oh my God.
But
Wow.
it's just this galactic remembering and information, and I'm just receiving things, and then I'll go home, I'll be out for like 2 weeks, and then I start to my gifts are just expanded, and it's like I can see more, I can do more, I can do more. Like, this is cool.
Whoa.
That is so cool.
That's
It's so-
fantastic.
I'm so happy for you that you're at that place in your life too where you can hear that and not be like, oh, I'll go next year. I got to tell you too, I spent time on the Navajo reservation, my best girlfriend and I, years and years ago, and I could totally see the Navajo in you. I mean, they're such
Right
beautiful
on.
people. Yeah.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
so go to Pinyon, right?
Yeah.
and
Well,
meet the
I have
Navajos.
been getting called to like I feel it in the near future. I've been telling my husband that I'm just like it feels like it's in the near future, but it's kind of coming closer and closer, and it's just like connecting with that energy, connecting with the Navajo traditions, and I feel like something there, but I want to make sure it's the right person. And so connecting with a medicine man or medicine woman, but I feel like I'll get insight as to who and when it gets closer.
Yeah.
But for now, I just keep, since this is opened, I there's something with Celtic and even kind of Norse stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, but obviously, like I go I've been to Ireland and Amsterdam and England, and a couple times France, to the monoliths and stuff, and it's more galactic, it's more cosmic for me.
Sure.
This remembering, and even when I'm connecting with people, I can feel kind of what type of starseed they are, in a sense. Some are more prominent than others, and I couldn't tell you the name of the starseed, but I can understand how that starseed moves energy. And so when some people are like, "Oh, I have a hard time grounding," or "I can't quite feel, I don't quite feel aligned in my energy," it's like, well, you're trying to move it like how the humans have told you to move it, but you specifically can't move it that way because the type of starseed you are, and so you have to come at it from the side, or you have to come at it from your pores, and so I do that, and then they open up and they're just like, oh my god. And so
That is so cool.
the energy move better, and I'm like, there you go. Or like one client that I have, she has to like imagine her being immersed in water, and then her intuition just opens up. But if she's just out and about, like, it's harder for her to tap in. And so, it's really cool. And I couldn't tell you how I know, but it's just like, oh, they do it this way. And and then it works,
Right.
and they're like, oh my gosh, when you walked me through that, like, it made more sense, and some people I've been like, you have to open your gills. Like, I know it sounds weird, but imagine gills and like open them up, and once they do, their headaches go away, they feel grounded, and it's just like, oh, like, that is so crazy.
Wow.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I know, but that's what I saw from you. Like, whatever you are, I couldn't tell you the name, but
That
Wait,
is
you
so
said,
good.
You said star seed, is that right? What exactly is that?
so a star seed is like a concept where we like our soul was kind of created, or first incarnated in a space other than Earth.
Right.
And so we have a signature that is like a soul signature that is not quite of the Earth. And so a lot of people, intuitive, or that are more sensitive to energy, those are usually star seeds, you know, people
Okay.
that
Oh,
can't quite human very well. They don't feel like this is their home. They don't feel like they belong. They feel like they're, you know, always doing things wrong. It might be because that resonance where they were first created as a soul was not on Earth,
okay.
and it was from somewhere else. And so I feel like the further out from Earth that the star seed is, the harder it is for them to acclimate, especially if they've never been here before on Earth. There's some of us that are old and we've been to a lot of places, and Earth is just one of them, but I've been here a billion times. I feel it, you know, and I don't mind being here, but I also recognize so many other star seeds. And so I know that I've been around the block too.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean,
But
that kind
how
of
do I know and what kind of star seed I am? I still don't know. I'm just like, I don't get it, but it makes sense to me in the moments and intuitively, and it's just like, oh, this is how I help them. This is how I help them understand. This is how I help them acclimate better to their physical bodies, to their human experience, and it works. And then it's just like, okay, cool.
whatever works, right? Like it's so great
So
when
amazing.
you hear about all of these different different pathways, and that every single one of our guests have been using those pathways to help other people. And I think if that is the intention, it can't be wrong. You know, if I found out I had gills and you could make my headaches go away, amen. Do you also then believe that like we do this life a couple of times?
Depends on the person, and it depends on the intention. I feel like the soul, you know, of what they want to experience. I believe that our souls get to choose what they want to experience next, and I'm sure there's something more divinely orchestrated that goes into play with all of that. But yeah, it just feels like for me, when I've done one past life regression. Do you guys know what that is?
One of
Like,
our
Yes.
guests just educated us so much about that. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
the one and only time that I did it, I went galactic, so I didn't see any of my human past lives. I saw that there were, like, it was like I lifted up and I went past all of those past lives, and it was like, oh, that's my human stuff, cool. And then I just shot up, and then I saw a couple different galactic past lives, and I just lost what I was gonna say.
I was like, did you just go
You're right
galactic?
there.
Naomi just went galactic on us. We'll be here.
Like,
Are we talking aliens, or are we talking just other bodies? Okay.
there's I fully believe that there's, you know, other life forms, but also that we can have existences that are not physical, that are more spiritual, that are more, you know, in different realms of consciousness. And so it's not necessarily that we've had physical bodies and we've lived on certain planets. Like, I don't feel like that's the one and only thing. I feel like there's multiple existences and multiple opportunities. And what I found that makes sense to my logical brain, because I always have to like take all this big stuff that I'm getting shown, and I'm like, whoa, what am I going to do with this? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
how can I ground this into reality? You know, like reality.
Yeah, right. Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is. But what I've come to know is that I fully believe that we're all fractals of the whole, right? The universe, source, whatever you want to call it. We're a piece of it, and so that's our soul. Everybody has a spirit, you know, in a sense. We all have energy that keeps us, that actually helps us move this physical body. When we die, it goes somewhere, and you know, you kind of always feel it like leave the body in a sense, and so it's going somewhere else, right? It's going somewhere. But I feel like the best kind of understanding that I have is that the universe wants to know how far it can expand. It wants to know more about its capabilities. It wants to know more about what it can experience, what it can accomplish, what it can do, how it can grow. And that's why all of us have this drive within us to want to create. We're creators, we're natural creators. We want to create, we want to leave our mark, we want to do something that no one else has done. You know, it's that
Yes.
innate energy from us being a piece of the universe. And that's literally what the universe is doing. So it's creating all these galaxies, creating all these planets, creating all these life forms. And why stop there, right? Why stop at just the physical? Let's do something spiritual. Let's do something that our human brains can't even understand. You know, like I want to have as many experiences as possible, and I want to see how far I can grow and how far, you know, what else I can experience next, and what I'm going to come up with as each of these pieces of me is creating something new. Then it's like, oh, I'm surprising myself. Now let me go even further and let me create something else, you know? Like if I was the whole universe, that's exactly how I would be, because that's how I am anyway. You know?
Right.
It's about not being happy with what you create and what you have. Because when each of us stops creating, that's when we start really dying. That's when we start feeling stagnant. That's when we start feeling useless. That's when we start feeling lost. And it's because that soul, that piece of the universe, is not doing what it's intending to do, right? And so that's what we're here for, is what I believe, you know, is what we're here for. And I'm totally open-minded to all things. That's why I love what I do, and that's why I am just gathering more and more information. It's because I don't think anything's off limits, you know, and I don't believe that us as humans are limited by what we can access, because we are a piece of the universe. So it's like, well, if I'm a piece of the universe, then that means I have access to all this information out there. And so I'm just going to be curious, and I'm going to start pulling in all these different things and learning about them and seeing what resonates with me and what doesn't. And like, but I'm completely open-minded to show me something I don't already know, because I'm sure there's 1,000 million billion things that is happening right now that I don't even have a clue about. But once I experience something and I access it, then it's like, oh, that's cool. and it doesn't surprise me. And so, you know, aliens, past lives, all this stuff, it's just like, yeah, yes to all, like yes to all of me.
That was so bombastic. The way you just said that, Naomi,
That
too.
was.
It really was. And I want to say thank you, too, for the way I think Naomi just framed that all so beautifully, you know, because there is that drive, I think, inside of all of us. And it's not necessarily like, I want to be famous, or it's not about that as much as like somebody put me in this game and I don't want to waste a minute of it.
That's again, kind of just how I've envisioned all of this. And so that's how I'm so cool with all these concepts. And so when I'm connecting with past loved ones, when I'm connecting with spirit guides, when I'm connecting with ETs, which I do, like all of it, when I'm connecting with rocks, when I'm connecting with, you know,
trees,
non-living things, you know, every creation has energy, and you can gather information from it. I see everything as data, everything is information. So a soul is information, the rocks are information, you know, and it's just about plugging into that and seeing what I can do with that information. How can I use this to create something new, or to experience something that I've never experienced before? And so I'm an open book and a sponge, but I also want to take that information, everything that I get, and then I want to kind of set it up in a logical sense. Okay, why did it show me this? And boom, boom, boom. Because I always believe that whatever we have access to is something that we can use in our lives. Something can be applicable in our lives. There's no coincidences that we connect with things that we connect with, or we experience things that we experience. I do feel like everything is divinely orchestrated. And so, you know, setbacks, errors, whatever, you know, it's just like that's just a human concept. That's something that a human said, this is wrong, this is right,
Right.
that's good, that's bad. It's like, but
It all just is.
we're so expansive. Yeah, like why should we limit ourselves to that? I can expand, and I have the capacity to expand, or the people around me have the capacity to open up their hearts more than they ever did, because now I can't hold everybody up and I need help, and so
Sure.
it's if there wasn't that resistance, or there wasn't those conflicts, then how would we ever experience that? And so I see everything just beautifully. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, life, death, interactions, whatever. It's just, it's amazing. It's beautiful, because look at how intelligent this is, this life is, and all these experiences. And so, yeah, I just love it.
That's amazing.
More and more people are going to continue opening their hearts more, stepping into them being more of an emotional being, which connects you more to the spiritual than the physical when you're in your emotions, which will help open up the intuition. But our children that are coming up are already set up to be open. And so
They are, right?
that's why they're so sensitive. And that's why we're being called to create new systems that support that sensitivity. And that's why we're going to we're already seeing, but we're going to continue to start seeing things crumble that do not support that emotional intelligence. Again, divinely orchestrated by the universe. It's like, it's time to change. It's time to adjust. So the generations that are a little bit older have a little opening, but especially the small ones, wide open, and so connected to their intuition. Like, you ask them something and they just, and they can heal very quickly, and they're just spot on to all of this. And so our generations and a little bit ahead are being called to step up our game, like in such a quick way. And it's because we need to create something for them to sustain in, because they're coming in as starseeds, just wide open, and they're just like, whoa, I can't live here. Nope. You're not ready for me yet. You're not ready for me yet. I got to go. And so, unfortunately they do, because the energy is still so dense here, and we're really being called to, the more we can be vulnerable, the more we can step into our emotional bodies and our spiritual bodies, the quicker this is all going to come together for them. Being able to slow down life in general, because there's so much that doesn't make, it's not necessary. And we've just overcomplicated systems. We've overcomplicated our lives. We've put too much pressure on non-spiritual, non-connected things that don't really matter. We've created so much separation within ourselves and within each other. And these kids are set up to be connected. And so they're isolating themselves, because they don't know how to function here yet, because we haven't.
Interesting. I love the way you put that.
Yeah. Well, they resonate more with emotions. And so even if we're moving through something and we're trying to figure it out, us expressing that is so important for them. Okay, there's steps, and it's okay to take steps. And so they're going to start to come out of their shells more, and take those steps with us. Okay, well, if you're trying to figure it out, then I'm going to come out of my shell, and I'm going to try to meet you halfway, and we'll figure this out together. So that's
beautiful.
It's been a game changer for me and my relationships with my kids.
I love that you said that. I also keep feeling like we're on the verge of something awesome, It's coming right up.
They're definitely so smart, the kids. They're way smarter than we ever were.
Oh,
yeah.
Ellie.
I definitely feel that in my kids too. Oh my gosh, thanks, Naomi. What a wonderful mountain of information you've given us. Okay, so here at Bombastic Broadcasting, we like to say that a rising tide lifts all boats. So, Naomi, how can we help you get your gifts more out into the world? Sure.
I have like a scheduling link. I don't have a website. So my scheduling link is this www.naomi, Naomi Haigh, Haigh like as.me, M-E. So naomihaigh.as.me. And that's where you can find my offerings. I do all my sessions through Zoom. I do my mentorships through Zoom. I do some of my classes online. So I do mediumship classes and intuition classes. And so some of those are through Zoom. Some of them are in person here in Utah. And so, yeah, that's where you can find that.
Thank you. Awesome.
Wonderful.
Having this platform is amazing, and allowing me to come on and connect with you all. That's really helping. Yep.
And thank you for helping people in your unique way. So here from Bombastic Broadcasting, be beautiful, be intuitive, and be open to your calling.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up. My man Mo said that the reason that the world fucked up is cause everybody lazy. Positivity is corny to them, but they still gon' complain about the bad going on. Shit crazy. So I just had to drop a little project. I don't know what the object is, but this feels good. If you too hood for the good vibe, sorry I ain't got nothing for you. Why should I?
You shouldn't. We out here doing the things that y'all wouldn't. Life could be a sweet ride. Proof is in the pudding. These guys with the weak vibes, I'll show them where to put it. Down bad, I was looking for the answer. Mind all mad, taking over like a cancer. Canceled the sub plans, came from up above. Told me everything we're doing, showing love. And I gotta wake up.
So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up.
I've been getting so high, head up in the clouds. I don't ever wanna come down, but I gotta
wake up.
Ain't enough time to be down. Bust a smile, cause it's yet another day that I'm allowed to
wake up.
Feeling blessed to be alive, man. Not long till we thriving. Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Most.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do.